everyone, it's Jenna, otherwise known as Undyne, here on virtualpopstar.com. Today I wanted to do sort of like a story time, like talk to me sort of video, but really I'm talking to you, so it's not really you talking to me. You get the idea. I have had this idea in my mind since I literally experienced the first part of this story, but it just got worse from there, so I was like, now I can make like a really long video about it. It's more of just like a funny story time. I'm sure a lot of you will get enjoyment out of what happened. I personally didn't, but I can look back on it now and like laugh at it, and it's just a good story to tell. So today I'm going to be telling you about all the crazy roommates I've had since I came to college, and how kind of my first year experiencing that was, and kind of ways to deal with that, so that if you go through the same thing, if you're like going to college next year, like in a few years, you guys can kind of figure that out then and take these tips and hopefully do better than I did. So I got into my dream school, and although I'm transferring next year, like it just wasn't really a good fit for me. Like I was really excited to come here, and I'm still here obviously, but my roommates aren't home so I can talk about them freely. Was so excited. I was like, college experience, yeah, I'm gonna like do so much stuff that's like in the movies, but I didn't really. Before we came, we like applied. I think it was like the January before like we moved in, so like we applied for housing really early on because we moved in like late August. So we applied for where we wanted to live. I researched all the dorms and I found the perfect dorm. It was central to campus, it had air conditioning, which most of them didn't, and this one was newly renovated, so it was very, very, very nice. It was just like perfect, and I like, when I came to visit the school, like that was after I already applied for housing, but then I like saw that dorm and I knew that I like was so like wanted to move in there, and I was so excited. I think we got an email for our room assignments maybe March or so, and I was like still in high school, about to graduate. I was so excited because I got into the dorm I wanted to get into. The one thing I wasn't excited for is that I had a community bathroom, which I had applied for the attached suite bathroom style because I don't like sharing. But I was like, that's okay, I'm still in my dream dorm, like the bathrooms don't seem that bad. And then another thing, I was in a triple room instead of a double, so there were 3 beds in the room, 3 desks, and 3 dressers, so that's it, and 3 closets. So it was 3 people instead of 2, and I wasn't really excited about that because I was like, what if I get left out? What if these 2 girls know each other and don't know me? It was just a mess. So I contacted these girls over the summer. One replied right away. She was like really excited to move here. We're gonna call her Emmy. So Emmy like contacted me. She was really excited. She was even coming over the summer like for a couple days to like visit the school and make sure she wanted to go there. She was from out of state, which I just live in state, so I had visited the school plenty of times. She planned a time for me and her to meet up, and I drove up to where the school is and we hung out, and it was really fun, and I was like, wow, this year is gonna go really well. I already have like a friend. The other girl, we're gonna call her Alicia. So Alicia, she was also from out of state. She was a lot more reserved and didn't really talk to us, but I did follow them on like all social media, kind of got a glimpse into her life, and I like had seen her private Instagram, and I like really wanted to like be like her. I don't know how to explain it, but like, you know those people who you're just like so jealous of that you like want to be like them. She was just so cool to me, and I was like, who is this girl? Alicia and Emmy and I all were moving in. So Emmy had moved in a couple days before because her parents wanted her to move in before like the rush or whatever. Alicia's move-in date was just like right before mine, so she moved in the day before me. I was moving in on like the last day of move-in, which kind of sucked because I got like the bad end of everything. When I went into the room like with my parents and stuff, Emmy was just like sitting there. It was kind of awkward because she like didn't say anything. She didn't talk to us. Like she kind of said hi to my parents like right before she left, and then she just like left halfway through me moving in, but I was really excited, so I didn't really think anything of it. So Alicia had already moved in, but she was like staying with her parents in a hotel while they were still in Colorado, so she just didn't like come back for a few days. So I kind of just moved in, got settled in. I kind of got the bad end of the room, the worst spot. Like it was still kind of against the wall, but it was a very small amount of room, and I only really basically had my desk and my bed, and I kind of forced my dresser out so that I would next to my desk and kind of like fit it in. The room was set up so weird, and I wish I could show you now, but I've moved since then. Emmy basically had like half of the room, and then me and Alicia each had 1/4, but Alicia had a little bit more room because her bed was like lofted so she could spread out, but like my bed was just like low to the floor. Yeah, I just didn't have enough room and I kind of felt bad about it, and I was like right next to the door, and I don't like being next to the door. But I was still optimistic. I was super excited. After my parents left, me and Emmy went and got dinner, but she was really weird about it. She wouldn't really talk to me, and I was trying to talk to her about stuff, and she would just like be like yeah, or like whatever, or you know. Second night she got really excited again. We started hanging up my Christmas lights all over the room except for on Alicia's part, because Alicia still wasn't back. We didn't know where she was. We didn't text her. We just kind of let her hang with her family. So we like hung like Christmas lights all around the room, made it look all nice. I think it was the third day. We had an extra week where we like didn't have classes. It was like freshman orientation. The third day we finally met with our RA, and she like had a big group meeting, and I met a few girls on our floor. And when we went to the football field for like opening, yay, start of the year, I sat with different people other than Emmy, and I really think that pissed her off, but I was really like getting a weird vibe from her, and I just wanted to branch out and meet new people. So I hung out with these other girls who, that's for a different video, but they were my friends at the time, and they were kind of nice, kind of chill, and I thought that we would be friends, but it didn't end up working out. While I was hanging out with like these friends, Alicia and Emmy like started to get really close and like would hang out all the time, and I started feeling really left out. And this was like the first week of school. Like this happened right before school even like started, like officially started. But I would just get the vibe that I would walk into the room and they were talking about me, and they would turn and act all fake. I don't know, I just didn't feel good, so I barely stayed in my room, and I would always like be out with friends. So I think right before the start of classes, the Sunday night before we started, Emmy had taken down all the Christmas lights we put up on her side and just shoved it like right on my bed and like on the floor next to my bed. And that really pissed me off, because if she just didn't want them, she could have told me and then we could have taken them down together, but she just like ripped them off the walls, didn't care. Like she took down some of the command strips too, which our RA told us not to take down the command strips so that we wouldn't be charged for the room, but now like she chipped the paint, and it just like pissed me off so much. I was just like so mad. And so I was already, but I didn't say anything, and that was probably my problem. I should have talked to her about it and tried to like find common ground, but I was like really pissed off, and when I'm pissed off I get really passive aggressive and I'm not confrontational at all. So I just let it slide for then. And another thing about Emmy is that she was really messy, and within the first 3 days her entire like side, since she had about half of the room, her entire side was filled with just like clothes, dirty like dishes, and it was just really gross. And she had thrown some stuff away in the trash can, and the trash can was full. I didn't really use the trash can at all, and then Alicia had her own trash can, so it was mostly Emmy's trash. And Emmy just kind of told us to take it out. She was like, or she specifically told me to take it out. She was like, can you get the trash? And I looked at her and I looked at the trash and I just smiled because I didn't know what to do. And then Alicia like agreed with her. She's like, yeah, if you can like help do your part and like keep this place clean. And I looked over at Emmy's side, which was a literal pigsty, and I was like, okay. Should have said something. I totally should have. Like looking back, I should have been like, yeah, sure, I'll like take out the trash, but like it's Emmy's stuff mostly, and she's messy, I'm not. I kept all my stuff nice and neat. I didn't have anything on the floor. Like I didn't have enough room to have anything on the floor because my space was so small. I was basically a bed against the wall and a desk against the wall. I didn't consider the rest of the floor a nice space to throw stuff on. Emmy was gone for 3 days. Like we didn't know where she was. Alicia wasn't like really close to her, and Alicia had kind of like other friends. Like Alicia was like really good at like making friends, so she didn't know where Emmy was either. I remember that when Emmy was gone, like me and Alicia would be talking more and we learned more about each other, and then she told me that Emmy had like bipolar disorder, but she was like on the wrong meds on purpose, and she like didn't want to take the right meds, and it was just this whole thing that was just easier to control. And then another thing about Emmy was that she was huge on like just recreational drugs. She really wanted to do like so many drugs, and I really didn't like want to be around that most of the time, so that's also part of the reason why I was away. Then one morning she came in at like 6 a.m. and woke us both up because we didn't have like early classes, and she barged in. She was like sobbing, and she was like, I'm dropping out. And this was probably really bad, but in my mind I was like, thank God, like she's gone, like I don't need to deal with her anymore. Like, of course I was like really sympathetic. I was like, oh, like what, is everything okay, like what happened? And she told us, this is like literally came from her mouth. She told us, I just found out my boyfriend of 4 years has been dating another girl for 3 years, and I also found out he's still in the gang. He told me he quit. I was like, what? This was the beginning of the second week of school, so we had gone through 1 week of classes, and she grabbed all of her stuff really quick. Her dad was there. They moved most of her stuff away, and then she left a huge mess for us to clean up. So me and Alicia spent the next 3 hours before class cleaning up her side, because she told us she was gone, and she didn't get the RA to check her out like she was supposed to or anything. So we cleaned her side of the room, like deep cleaned everything, and then it was just me and Alicia, and me and Alicia got along really well. We weren't friends, but like we would hang out and talk and learn about each other, and it was really fun to have someone there, especially then when like that was like the time the friends I made at the beginning of the year started like dropping me. Or right after Emmy moved out, when me and Alicia were getting to know each other, she was telling me all the stuff that Emmy did to me, specifically to my fish. She tried to kill my fish 3 different times. I'm not joking. I am not exaggerating this. This is what Alicia told me, and I completely believe it because Emmy was just not a good person. She was really malicious and really rude to me and like wanted to hurt me. So how does she do that? She abuses my fish. The first time, and Alicia told me all of this. This is like just what I've heard. I don't actually know if it's true, but I believe that it is. Like, I think that it is true. Alicia told me that the first time she tried to kill, this was 3 separate times, and the first time she tried to kill my fish, she would like hold a mirror up to it, and it was a betta fish, so it got really aggressive really fast, and it repeatedly hit its head onto the glass, seeing the reflection, thinking it's like another predator, and she wanted to kill it. She kept doing that, and then Alicia told her to stop. The second time, Emmy sprayed Febreze into the tank, tried to kill the fish, because how does she deal with her messy lifestyle? She sprays some Febreze on it. It was so, And then the third time, she poured vodka into my tank. And my fish survived throughout all of this, but the fact that she would just try to kill a fish hurt me and like make me think that I was a bad fish owner, even though I took so good care of my fish. It was just so horrible to me. That's like killing my child, kind of, because I like loved that fish so much, and I would like always be with that fish, like hanging out. Like, this makes it sound so bad, but like true, like I would just like sit next to it and just watch him like swim around, and like he got really excited when he saw me, and it was just like really brought me joy to my life. And when she like tried to take that away, it was just like a really bad thing to do. Fast forward to the middle of October, so like it was just me and Alicia in a 3-person room. I had moved to where Emmy was and like set up all my stuff there, and like now I had like that half of the room because Alicia didn't really want it because her bed was like really high. She didn't want to move her bed over there, and she was just like, you can have it, it's like you deserve it, like all this stuff. And it was just really nice of her. So I had like the really good side of the room, and then we got an email and we were getting another roommate. I knew this would have happened eventually because we were in one of the nicest dorms on campus and everyone wanted to be in that dorm. So we got our email and it was just like approved to move. Like, we didn't get any say, we didn't get to meet the girl first. She was just like, I'm moving in on Sunday. So after that initial email, she moved in. She like moved all her stuff in on that Sunday. I was gone because I like go home every other weekend and like visit my family and stuff because I live so close. But I came back that Sunday afternoon and all her stuff was there, and Alicia was in there, and the new girl wasn't. And I was like, where's the new girl? And we're gonna give her a name, let's say Kelsey. So I was like, where's Kelsey? And Alicia just was like, I don't know, like I haven't met her, like she just moved in all her stuff and then left. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. So she didn't come back until that Monday morning. She came back and she like introduced herself to us, kind of. She was like, I'm Kelsey. She didn't like come up and say hi to us. She was just like, hi. And it was just like really weird, and I got a really weird vibe from her again. And so we kind of just lived together. She didn't talk to me at all, like when we were in the room the first few days, and then randomly on like, I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday, we were just both sitting in the room studying, and she like looked at me, she's like, are you in calculus? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, I am, it's really hard. And that's it. End of conversation. I am not joking. Like, that was all that she said to me. But I like wanted to give her a chance, like genuinely. On Friday morning, she was like, oh yeah, my friend is flying in tonight and she's gonna stay the weekend. And me and Alicia looked at each other and we were like, what? She's like, yeah, sorry, like we planned this trip when I was still in my old dorm and then I moved and it's been crazy. And we were like, okay, like how long is she staying? And she was like, oh, just one night, and then we're like going up to the mountains snowboard and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's fine. One night isn't very bad. I wasn't doing anything that Friday night, so I was just kind of like in the room hanging out. Her friend came and they like got ready, they went out and like went partying and stuff, and then it was like 4 in the morning and I was like I was like asleep, and they like woke me up coming in because they were so loud. Alicia was there and she was already asleep too. She goes to bed like earlier, like at midnight, and I go to bed at like 2 or 3. But yeah, we were both asleep, and then her and her friend came in really loud and woke us both up. And then her and her friend like got into bed, went to sleep. It was fine. It was like 5 in the morning and I hear an alarm go off, and it is a very loud alarm and I cannot find the source of it. Kelsey and her friend do not wake up, and I was so mad because I just like wanted to sleep, and it was like Saturday, I wanted to sleep in, and they just like kept blaring their alarm. I like couldn't find the phone because it was somewhere in their bed to turn it off. I tried to like wake them up and they wouldn't wake up, and I was just like so mad. I woke Alicia up too, and Alicia tried to wake them up. I was just like, screw this, I can't deal with it. I went out into the hall and just sat on my phone for a little while because I could not deal with an alarm noise constantly going off, and I like can't fall asleep while that's going off because that's like, wake up, wake up. So like I just left the room to try to go somewhere quiet to like chill out, and the alarm like turned itself off or whatever. So I came back at like 6 or 7 in the morning on a Saturday morning, and the alarm was off. Alicia was back asleep, so I was just like, okay, I'll just go back to bed. And then I wake up 10 to them like being loud again and getting ready. I was just so mad, and then when they left I took the longest nap ever, but like that night I literally like could not sleep. It was so bad. The thing that made me put in my request to move out, it was like the week before Thanksgiving break, which we get a whole week for, and I'd come back that weekend from coming home, and then Alicia told me that Kelsey had meningitis, which is really contagious, really bad, and a lot of doctor stuff. But she was just like chilling in our room, like, well, she wasn't there at the time when Alicia told me, but she was just like there all weekend, and I was like completely grossed out. I didn't want to get meningitis. I didn't want to do any of that. So I literally that night packed up my stuff and went home and like drove every day to my classes, and although it's an hour drive, that was better than getting sick. And when I texted Kelsey and asked her if she had it, she was like, yeah, but the doctor said it's not contagious if I take antibiotics. And I said, are you on antibiotics? She's like, no, I haven't started them yet. I was like, what the fuck? And I put in a roommate request to move. I wanted to move originally, so on my campus there's a main campus, and then there's like a little area off main campus, and it's like a village, and basically it's just like 5 or 6 like dorms just in a little area off of campus. You have to take a bus to get onto main campus. Not many people want to live here, but it's really nice actually. And I applied for apartment style, so I would specifically have like a kitchen and a living room and my own bedroom with like a roommate. I requested to move out, and then a week later I got the request, and then I was actually moving in with someone I know from my hometown, and I was really excited because, hey, another friend. And it's like a 4-person apartment. There's 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, 1 kitchen, 1 living room. So I was really happy because there was like just a lot more space. You could like be separate from someone if you like didn't want to hang out. The last few nights before I moved out of my old dorm into my new apartment, Alicia had a boy over, and it was not her boyfriend because her boyfriend goes to a different school. It was a guy from down the hall. I knew that because I knew her boyfriend and I knew the guy who lived down the hall, and they were like, oh, we're just gonna watch a movie. And so Alicia's bed is lofted like high up close to the ceiling, and if the lights are off you can't really like see up there, so they like turned the lights off, got into bed, watched a movie. It was like midnight or something, whatever. I was just hanging out on the computer, like in my bed, like ready, about to go to sleep. I got up to go to the bathroom because it's a community bathroom, so I have to like leave the room. And I passed by Alicia's bed, and they were full on like making out. And this is not her boyfriend, this is a different guy. And I know her boyfriend and her were not seeing anybody else because like I had talked to her about it before. And I was so confused that she was cheating on her boyfriend in the same room as me. And I was like texting one of my friends, and I was like sending her videos. I was like, oh my gosh, like listen to this, like you can hear them making out. And it was just like so sneaky, but it was like crazy, and I was like freaking out. I was like, what is going on? But yeah, and then she didn't say anything about it, and they both fell asleep. She never said anything about it again because this semester we didn't really have a class together. I wasn't about to go tell her boyfriend or anything, so I'm not a snitch, but so I moved. And I was like, finally, life is looking up. This was like right after Thanksgiving break, like a week or two before the end of the semester. They wanted to get me moved in like before the end of the semester. So I moved, and unfortunately I didn't get this side of the bedroom at first. This belonged to a girl, let's call her Mackenzie. So Mackenzie and I shared a bedroom, and she was the messiest person in the entire world. It was just not fun living with. Like, she was messier than Emmy. But I had just moved in. I felt really bad for taking away that one spot that they had, because I know kind of how I felt when like the other girl moved in. So I was just like really considerate. I didn't like say anything. I didn't confront anyone. I was just like chill with it. I was like, yeah, this is great. Like, I'm in an apartment now. And then I was with my friend, and even though she was in the room next to us, like, it was still just like really like fun like living with her. I like thought it was a good situation. At the end of the semester, I was like happy. My friend from my hometown, her name, let's call her Jess. Jess texted us one day. She's like, hey guys, just so you know, I'm like moving out. I'm moving on to main campus, which a lot of people wanted to do, so I understood. So I was like, oh hey, that's okay. Like, and so the other girl, we'll call her Ashley. So Ashley would have her own room. And when I first moved in, me and Ashley did not get along at all. Like, she was just very condescending. She was very rude. She didn't want me to move in at all. That's what Jess had told me. But I still tried to play friendly, and just moved out, and then there were 3 of us at the beginning of the semester. Like, right when I came back, like, Jess was already gone. So me, Ashley, and Mackenzie are in the apartment now. And me and Mackenzie share a room. Ashley has her own room with like an extra spot. So Mackenzie just like got progressively worse for like next 2 weeks. Wasn't just messy, but she would never do her dishes. She would always like leave a huge mess wherever she was in the apartment. She just like left stuff everywhere. She didn't clean up after herself. She didn't know how. Like, we ended up always doing her dishes, and this was only for the first like 2 weeks of the semester. And she was older than us. She was 21 years old, and she still like didn't know how to like be a functioning like adult. Like me, I was 18 and Ashley is 19. Like, how do you not know how to pick up after yourself? And apparently this had been going on all semester before I even moved in. And like, Ashley later told me like all the stuff she's done, which she didn't do it directly to me, so I'm just not going to talk about it that much, but it was still just kind of like bad of her to do. Then me and Ashley get a text from Mackenzie, and Mackenzie was like, I'm moving out in 5 days. I'm moving out because I just need my own space. And we were like completely fine with that. We were like, oh, sad to see you go, but we were really happy because now it's just me and Ashley in a 4-person apartment, each with our own bedroom. Like, that was the dream. When Mackenzie moved out, she left a huge mess behind, and I moved to the side of the room, but I literally had to clean so much like gross like stuff up after her, and it was just like not fun. And then another thing about Mackenzie, right after she moved out, Ashley was really mad that she left like a huge mess behind, not just in this bedroom but like everywhere in the apartment. And so Ashley texted her in a group chat between us. She was like, just so you know, like, we really don't appreciate you leaving a huge mess. Not everyone is gonna always clean up after you in life, so maybe you should take that skill. And it was just so savage, so perfect. Mackenzie was literally like scared of Ashley at this point. Mackenzie texted me a few days later. She was like, hey, I left some textbooks there. Can you like bring them to me? And I was like, I'm working all day, so like ask Ashley. She didn't ask Ashley. She just went straight to our like RA, and she was like, hey, can you get the textbooks from that room? And then our RA just texted us. She's like, can you bring the textbooks to me so I can give them to her? And the textbooks were like in a cardboard box, and it was like a huge like cardboard box for like a few textbooks, so there was like plenty of room. So what I did is I took a lot of her trash that she left, shoved it in the box with her textbooks, and gave it to our RA, and she got it. And she was so mad, according to Jess. She had texted Jess about it. It was just like the funniest little thing. I felt so petty, but I felt so good. So then it was only a week, and we get another email, and it's, this person is moving in. And I was just like so done with it. I was like, great, I hope she doesn't choose my room to move into. I hope she chooses the other bedroom. But no, she chooses mine. But she was very nice about it. She wasn't like Kelsey, who was really rude to us. She was really like considerate and nice, and understood that she was like taking a bedroom away from one of us, and like she wanted to be really considerate of that. which at first I really liked her, and I liked her personality. I liked how like nice she was. Like we clicked, like we were like really close for like a week. But she moved in. Her parents were really nice. Her parents like bought us what we needed, because when Mackenzie left, she like stole our water filter that everyone had like chipped in for. She like stole a ton of bowls that weren't even hers, and just like took all the stuff that like was not hers to begin with, and we don't know why she took it, but she just did. So the new girl who moved in, we're gonna call her Mary. Me and her clicked right away. We were like really close. We like talked a lot. We learned a lot about each other. I was kind of glad to like have a companion in here, I guess. And it was going really well for the first few days, except for the fact that she was always on FaceTime with her boyfriend, or her boyfriend was always with her. And I felt like awkward talking to her while her boyfriend was just like on FaceTime with her, and they wouldn't like talk, they would just sit on FaceTime and like do their own thing. And then like he would say something ever so often, and she would say something back, and then they would just be silent for another hour or two. Or they would just like watch movies together, which that isn't as weird, but like being on FaceTime 24/7 with someone, I like literally like don't know what I would do. Like it was just the weirdest thing. But I kind of got over that. I was like, oh, like she's just like a new friend, like she just like finds like comfort in her boyfriend, like giving her a chance, you know. So, and her boyfriend would come up here a lot because he was like in high school, but he like had online school because he got expelled from the high school. So he would just be allowed to like drive over here like anytime he wanted and stay the night or whatever. So he would stay the night like 4 times out of the week. And I was like, I didn't sign up for 2 roommates, I just signed up for 1. And they were just not a good match either. Whenever they like both got drunk, they would get really, really aggressive and like hurt each other. And one night, like there was just this whole crazy night that I could like make a whole nother video about. They were just like horrible to each other. She would like keep trying to leave and she wouldn't let him leave, and she would just be like, go like sit down, hurting each other, and it was just not fun. So don't drink. They would be like fighting, whispering while I was trying to sleep in the same room. And that was kind of the turning point where I was like, okay, maybe she like isn't really a good friend. And so one day I came back from going home for the weekend. Ashley had told me, like, me and Ashley since then had gotten along really well, and we were like good friends, and like we always talk to each other. We still do, like we're still like really good at like talking to each other and like being friends. And although sometimes she pisses me off, she's like not the cause of any of my problems or anything like that. Like she was like always like just nice to me ever since Mackenzie moved out. Like we got really close. So Ashley wakes up really early, and she told me Mary and her boyfriend went to bed that one night. They left the apartment a literal disaster, left gross stuff in the bathroom. Like I don't want to explain it, but you should like just get it. I don't want to say it because it's too gross to even say on camera, but they just like left so much stuff, and Ashley spent the whole morning cleaning up after them because like she cannot be around messes. Like she like seriously would have like an anxiety attack if she was. So she cleaned for them, and then we told Mary, and she got mad at us for telling her she was messy. She should have just admitted that she was messy and moved on, and everyone would have been happy, but she was just mad at us. She was passive aggressive, and ever since we told her that she was messy, she hasn't really been staying here at all. Like she has started to take some of her stuff back home, and then she told us that she was only going to be staying a few nights out of the week, and then I told her when she stays, can her boyfriend not stay? And so she hasn't been staying because she would rather be with her boyfriend than stay here. It's kind of been like I have my own room, but like all of her stuff is still here. She does take a lot of her stuff with her every time she comes back, so I feel like she's slowly moving out, which is good. Like I ended up getting my own room and not having to deal with her. But yeah, and that was my life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up or a comment or both, whatever you want to do. Subscribe to our channel. We'll put out new videos as often as we can. We're trying to cater to your needs more, to the community. And yeah, if there's any other kind of videos you guys want to see, just don't hesitate to let us know. We will be announcing our new members soon, so don't think we forgot about that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye!